Growing up, I didn't even know what trans was. It was always, you're not a girl. You're not a girl. You're not a girl. If you brought your heels with you, please put them on.
Black trans woman from Trinidad and Tobago, that doesn't go over well.
Step up, don't be scared. I don't bite till after midnight. I did not see a future for myself at all. Walking, a lot of times we don't understand. We carry our emotions with us when we walk. If you are late for work, it's gonna be, excuse me, get out of the way, right?
Ballroom becomes salvation for her.
When I first put on that hair, and I realized that I could be me, there was no going back. 5, 6, 7, 8, walk. But what I discovered by walking with my head up is being able to say, no, I don't care what you think about me.
The most extraordinary lives follow undefined paths. To find your voice, you may need to journey into the unknown. I'm Carlos Watson, editor of OZY, and these are Defining Moments.
Yeah, I like that. I never thought I would have put my mother on my wall like that.
Hey, how are you?
Hi, Carlos.
Hello.
A pleasure. Welcome to my little place.
Yeah. Beautiful place.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. In the spirit of the holidays.
I was gonna say, you're getting ready for Christmas. Is that your favorite holiday?
Yeah, you know, for quite a while, I really didn't get into holidays and stuff like that because there was so much more going on. I really couldn't put up photos before. Like everyone does, they have photos, but I didn't value my life. So therefore, I didn't celebrate myself by putting up my photos. I was living in survival mode.
What was it like for you growing up? Were you able to be open as a trans girl, trans woman?
I would never have come out if I was living in Tobago. Trans people on the islands are murdered, and there's nothing done.
Was there anyone else growing up on the island? Like, were there any other people who felt like their gender?
There was this one person. People on the island treated this person horribly. Like, they couldn't get into taxis, they had no place to live. I would see people discriminate against them, I would see people laugh at them. But this person was so happy. When you saw them, they weren't walking with their heads down and feeling sad. They were walking around like really happy, like singing and dancing. And a lot of people would say, oh, they're crazy, they've lost their mind. But what I've come to realize is that person had found their truth. They didn't care what anyone else thought. Going through life, growing up, when it came to understanding my truth, I was so excited about my truth that I thought that everyone should just be like, we accept you, we love you, blah, 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 blah. For my mother, who is rooted in her church, in her Bible, she did not understand it.
My name is Carol, and Dominic is my son. Is my daughter, my firstborn. Dominic was a wonderful child, loving, kind. He was always a performer. He was a great dancer.
I played Wonder Woman. I didn't want to join the Boy Scouts, I joined the Brownies. And when I got to a certain age, it was no longer cute for me to do the girly things. Now it was like, look, this can be kind of serious. I had an aunt who every time I opened my mouth, she would say, speak like a boy, act like a boy. You're not a girl. Okay, but this is where I relate.
From what age did you feel that way?
It was about when I realized that girls had vaginas and boys had penises and I didn't want one.
So you're talking like 5, 6, 7?
4. I remember first asking the question, what is this? Why is it here? To them, it was like, you're born male. But to me, it was like, this isn't right, so somebody fix it.
Were you saying this to mom? Who were you
To
saying
my
this
grandmother, but they weren't hearing me. I was taken out of dance classes and put into soccer. I went to church every Sunday, Sunday school.
Religion was very much a part of our lives. He was very involved with the Anglican Church. He was an acolyte. At that time, I left Tobago. In 1986, my husband and I at the time, and my 3 children, we moved to Baltimore, Maryland.
Mom came over to the United States for a better life, to prepare a better life for us all.
Dominique's grandmother didn't want him to leave Tobago, so we left him with her.
I'm about to become an acolyte. So now this is a prestigious thing on the island. Your child is serving on the altar, they're closer to God. And then the priest, I've started to feel really strange vibes from him. He took me to the beach, myself and another acolyte, and I'm thinking, ooh, everyone else is gonna be jealous because now I'm close to the priest. To me, it was like being close to a president or something like that. And so we're in the water and he takes off his shorts. My priest was not a homosexual, he was a pedophile.
And you were how old at this point?
11, probably. I cannot tell you if I was penetrated in the water or not. I just know I felt pain. I know that things did not feel right.
When I heard that, if I was able to travel, I'm sure I would have committed murder.
Religion was always a part of my life, but religion also hurt me. At those times, I didn't feel like I had any connection to God. Even though I knew he was there, I just didn't feel like he loved me or cared for me because I was told that I was an abomination for being myself. Years later, I got a phone call saying that one of the acolytes had passed away. It was from AIDS complications. And so when I heard that the priest may have HIV, in my entire being, all I heard was run. Run.
By age 15, Dominique had experienced enough fear and abuse to last a lifetime. Now, she'd leave the only home she'd ever known, seeking the one thing she needed the most, family.
He came here to Baltimore. I said, okay, that's fine. You can stay with me. And basically that's when let us know about his new lifestyle. It was a shock to everybody.
I was being hot in the booty, went downtown Baltimore, snuck away from home. I needed to find a place that helped me find some kind of feeling that I was normal. I met this guy, taller than I was, and I'm standing there and I'm like, oh yeah, we're gonna go out. And then here these people come. Trans women, I didn't even know what trans was. But I'm thinking to myself, okay, something's different about them and I relate to it. And they're like, oh, you're not dating him. I don't know you. No, you're not dating him. They told me he contracted HIV. And the way that he dealt with it was to do this thing called gift giving. His idea was, someone did it to me, so I'm gonna do it to everyone else. And they held me and they walked me away. But they were from Ballroom. Ballroom saved my life that night.
For people who've never been to the shows, take them inside. What were the shows like?
Fantastic. You could be coming into that bar with all kinds of burdens and troubles, and then this person would get on stage and you would see makeup and you would see hair, and you just feel this sense of freedom. It was Ballroom and we were voguing at night and doing runway and tying sheets around to make dresses. It was a place for us to just really have community. It's like, why are you going to church? Because that's where you feel your comfort. I had found my chosen and proven family, people who were just like me.
Dominique's initiation into the world of ballroom helped her define what she'd always been feeling. It also provided sanctuary to live openly as the person she saw in the mirror.
I found out when I was about 10 that my brother is no longer my brother, it's my sister. So, of course, like any other parent, Moms has rules, standards, guidelines. If you don't want to live under my household, leave. And, that's what happened at that point in time.
If you love someone, it's not about acceptance. That's how I see it. In my eyes, it's wrong. We were taught by my grandmother to always live for the Lord. That's how we lived. And there was nothing about being gay or anything like that.
I couldn't go back home because if I had gone back home, then I would have to detransition. So because I could not live in my mother's house as a female at that time, the voice came back to me, run. I ended up in New York.
Tyra Allure Ross is who we know her. You all know her by Dominique Jackson. So when I say Tyra, I mean Dominique Jackson. She was a legend, a bona fide legend.
Miss Tyra Allure.
In the house of ballroom community, particularly her category, the trans women are overly made, if you will. This notion of a Jessica Rabbit, small waist, big breasts. And here's this tall, slender woman who would walk in a club, part the Red Sea like Moses, have all these little young gay men surrounding her, like Janet Jackson, like Naomi Campbell. Tyra has that same kind of power. And when she does it, you would never think someone like that is struggling with self-esteem issues.
When you came to New York, you only knew one place. Going down to Christopher Street, and it was either 42nd Street or Christopher Street. And this is where we survived. You remember Tiffany's, right? Tiffany's was a restaurant that you would hang out on Christopher Street all night. If you had to do sex work or something like that, you would do your work, and then we would used to work at Two Potato and finish the shows, and everybody would meet up, the sex workers, the entertainers, and we would come up here and come to Tiffany's and have breakfast at Tiffany's.
I remember many nights I slept on these benches.
Ah, well, Central Park was my place to sleep. You slept here.
I slept here, yeah.
Can you believe we survived this shit?
When she came into my life, must have been like 97, 98, Dominique didn't have her green card, couldn't work as much, and she was living from post to post, pillar to pillar, sleeping on different people's couches.
In my head, I could just still picture everyone like on the pier voguing and reading, and that was our place. You would stay down on the pier and you had community, you had family. As soon as you said, I'm sleeping on the pier, someone would say, oh, well, I got a welfare apartment, so you could come over, stay, and like, you're gonna be my sister. When a ballroom person calls you mother, brother, sister, uncle, auntie, it's deep. The camaraderie and the acknowledgement kind of negates the fact that you're sleeping on the floor.
So it's shared. It's very communal.
Yeah, it's very communal. And that's the thing, like, people didn't think, like, how could you be hanging out in the street and homeless and be happy? And it was like you had people that went through the same thing with you, and we were there for each other. I guess we distracted each other from
all the pain and stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't hear from him for a while. We didn't know where to look for her. I would get phone calls that were very, very difficult. Well, it had to be resentment for her to be calling me and just ranting.
The lowest point in my relationship with my mom was I told her I hated her, and I've never, ever forgiven myself for that. I never hated my mother. I just wanted to be, I wanted to feel acknowledged.
But I know I did say to her one day, don't you ever call me again and disrespect me. Okay? Thank you.
She would call every now and then. I would call, and hearing some of the things that she did have to go through. Dancing in the clubs or, you know, whatever else that, you know, she had to do to make ends meet.
Sex work made me feel like I was nothing, I was dirt.
You caught me off guard with that one. I'm sorry, guys.
One of the things that's very true about a lot of trans women is because of transphobia, the thing that's most viable for their economic stability is sex work.
The most traumatic part was having to negotiate with people for my body. And for any girl who has to walk the streets, people don't realize, they think that it's a choice or something like that. No, we know what can happen to us out there. We're not just going out there and saying we don't care. And for those of us that go out there and say we don't care, it's because we don't feel we have any value, so we just want to get it over with.
Trans women of color, is that a very different experience than being a white trans woman?
Hell yeah. The lighter skinned girls and the Latinas, if you had the nice long hair, you had the light skin, pretty skin, would work clubs like Sally's and Edelweiss. And it's working in those spaces that you were the safest. Usually, the trans women of color would work 14th Street. There were some times that I never thought I was gonna get out of those cars, and then realized that I had to get right back into another one. So I'm still dealing with it.
That area was highly Black and brown trans women whose bodies were brutalized and murdered, and there was no outcry not only from the city, but from the larger white LGBT community. The continued brutalization and murders of Black, Latino trans women are not necessarily being experienced as the same as white trans folk. Black and brown folk are dealing with not only HIV and AIDS, but other intersections of health disparities.
Between 1993 and the year 2000, I thought I was HIV positive.
Were you seeking treatment?
I did not seek treatment because I didn't want them to confirm it. In 2000, I got tested and I wasn't positive. And first I was like happy and jolly, and I get downstairs and I'm walking up to the 2 train and something hits me. What if you had just gotten a positive result? The things that we have been through in life, and to be where we are right now, we can only be grateful. Many of us aren't here right now. Actually, this is where I met my first husband. He was standing in that vestibule, and I said, that's gonna be my husband. And he was standing right in that vestibule smoking a cigarette. I should have left him there. I was married from 2011. Wow.
How did he identify?
All men that I date identify as straight. A male dating a trans woman is not a gay male, but people tend to force that onto people, and because when straight men are made to feel like they're not as masculine as society forces them to be and puts all these stereotypes on them, all of a sudden if you deal with a trans woman, you're gay. So now it's like, oh my gosh, all these things in my head, I'ma just kill her. A lot of the men that killed trans women were in relationships with them. All through the relationship, he said it was really embarrassing for him to have to be with me, and he felt that I should be living stealth. As time went by, I was slowly pushed into a box, going according to the stereotypes of women in relationships, which is extremely submissive, respect your man. Some Black girls are taught that your man has to be aggressive with you or he doesn't love you. So in a sense, I thought that his aggression meant that I wasn't being a good woman. There was an argument every day about me not being obedient. It was getting to the point where I believed that this man was gonna hurt me. For the first time, the voice came back to me in years, run. So I'm currently in the midst of a divorce. And I was like, God, you spared my life. You have a purpose for me. And right then and there, I started getting into activism.
I'm Tanya. As a Panther Johnson Walker, I am the co-founder of the New York Transgender Advocacy Group, and I'm also the Community Affairs Officer. And what we've gotten done this year is we've got a Gay and Trans Panic Defense passed. We've gotten a Non-Discrimination Act passed this year, and we've got a ban on conversion therapy.
Destination Tomorrow is the place where people of color can come to and actually feel like they're being serviced by people who have actually lived the experiences that they're going through.
I've been shut down from insurance to do my surgery. When they told me that I really wanted to commit suicide on that, if I couldn't be who I wanted to be, I would kill myself and I would jump out that window and end my life. And through the grace of God, they called me and said I could get my surgery, which is in April.
Thank you for sharing your story. Coming into my bottom surgery, I felt the very same way. I thought that my life was going to end. I was tucked for 21 years. I did not come out of that G-string, except it was for a shower, which I usually cried during because I had to wash parts of my body that did not belong there. I tried to cut it off myself. A few years into my transition. But then I met Dr. Rachel Bluebon Langner, and then she told me my surgery date was June 29th, and life just came right back into me. Like, I really wanted to live again.
The news of this surgery was life-affirming for Dominique. For the first time in her life, her physical body would fully align with how she'd always felt inside.
She is much more determined. She believes in herself more so. You begin to see things gradually fall in place for her. From the book, to the reality TV show Strut, to Pose.
Before I did surgery, Pose called, and I did the first audition. And I'm just like, oh dear God, I have to play this role, but I know I'm not gonna get it. After surgery, I was not supposed to be in heels. I still had stitches, and they called for the callback. So we go into the room, and there's Mr. Murphy, and I was in pain. I can't even remember everything he asked me, but he did ask me about my relationship with my mom. And I said that I love them very dearly, and I understand that I can't force people to understand me, to comprehend my situation, so I have to love them from a distance. And everyone in the room was kind of moved by that. Then they called me and they said I had Pose. So, yeah, you just can't give up. Oh, God.
When it was announced that she got the role, Ballroom was up in adulation for her.
Ballroom, we are stepping into the Golden Globes tonight.
Through Ballroom, Dominique found community and self-love. Now with her role on Pose, she's helped normalize the existence of the very people and culture that saved her life.
Do you think it's getting better? Do you think it's changing?
I hope it's changing, and with a show like Pose, I believe that the world is changing. The late 90s, we'd walk through Times Square, and I would say to them, I'm going to be on a billboard in Times Square. And they would laugh. They were like, you're a trans woman and you're black. And in 2018, there we were in Times Square looking up, and they had the billboard up.
So there's a piece that I want to say that she's still the same humble person, but it's put on much more of a microscope, so that scares her more. Coming out of her house a lot of the time, so walking down the street, again, she's a trans woman, but now she's out in the world. I think she's become more fearful.
My visibility was a smack in the face to a lot of people. So while most celebrities can run around without security, without anyone with them, I have to have someone with me, and that's why I have Edwin. Through everything, though, that I've gone through, I'm grateful that you are here with me.
Went from security
To personal manager.
to boyfriend.
You said it.
This Christmas is gonna be amazing.
It's going to be your sisters and all their kids and your nieces and nephews. But you always loved Christmas. I wasn't able to really celebrate Christmas. Right before Pose aired, I called my mom and I said that I needed her in my life.
One night, I got a phone call. And when I answered, it was my child on the other line.
I said that I was going to television and I didn't want us to be at odds.
And what was said is, you are my firstborn. There's nothing that will change my love for you.
And that's all I needed to hear. I haven't spent Christmas with my family in like 20 years.
Hola, hola. What's going on?
Oh my gosh, you look so beautiful.
Lovely, so good to look at you. Look at you.
So the last apartment you saw, right?
Yes.
I know it was a disaster and it was not. but it was what I could afford and where I lived.
Yes.
So now, Miss Owings Mills lady.
Oh, we're here.
Yes, welcome to my home.
Oh, wow. Look at you. Oh, my goodness.
Come on
Hello.
in.
Oh, this is beautiful.
You like it?
I do. Did you put me up there with my stomach so fat?
This is the wall I want you to see. This is everything that I have done.
That's you?
This is me with Deborah Shaw, the model, and Gwyneth Paltrow. Yes, this is Whoopi. And who's that?
That is Lorna herself. You look so much like your auntie.
This is the piece de resistance.
Oh, wow.
And when it's clear, you can see that's Manhattan.
Let's go inside. Let's go inside.
I know.
Yes.
It's been so long since the family has just all been
together. Yes.
Like, you know, we always talk, you know, but all of us being under the same roof for the holidays, oh, I'm ready.
Oh.
I love you. I love you too.
When I walk through the streets, I can find myself cowered away. I even do this a lot at times, because it's kind of like it protects me. But what I discovered is I can clear a path walking down the street by walking from my core, no matter what's in here. It feels like I accomplished a lot more than anyone thought I could.
Congratulations on all your success. You are a big inspiration to a lot of people.
Pause.
Her walking in her truth and opening that door for others that are afraid to say it. Yes, I'm definitely 100% proud of her.
My dream. You are amazing.
Oh,
How are you?
I'm well. How are you doing?
All right. I'm cold, but.
I know. You're welcome. Thank you, love.
You took it off.
Yes, Ballroom was created out of survival, but I'm hoping she gets to a place where she understands that she has a divine right to not survive, but to thrive and live.
My child always show that extreme potential, and I am sure that I don't know half of her pain and torture getting to where she is today.
For some communities, survival itself is often considered a success story. But Dominique has surpassed even the boldest of expectations, rising from her own anguish and transforming a life of struggle into one of triumph.
I feel like I really worked hard. I feel like I should celebrate the fact that I didn't give up, but I almost did. And right now, everyone is fighting for equality and rights. The Me Too movement, Black Lives Matter, Trans Lives Matter. We are the majority. All of us in our little segregated corners calling ourselves minorities, when we merge together, we are the majority. We have to stop with this judgment and tough love, right? It's not tough love. There is another path. There is another way. All I was trying to do was live my life and be the best me and prove to my mother that being trans did not mean that I was some degenerate. So for parents to be able to instill in their children, look, there are these types of people in the world, then you are arming your children with knowledge.
She's alive, and whatever was broken, we can mend. I'm growing daily. I am growing daily.
I really would love to adopt, and I want my kids to be able to experience what my mother did for me, which was help make me this person, not about the aesthetic, but about the mindset. And that mindset is love.